What's going on, y'all? It's your boy Dev. Back with a video. It's been a minute. I want to say like a month and a half since I made a video. Uh, I mean, it's not that I just haven't been wanting to do this or anything like that. It's just been I've been enjoying life lately. Uh, you know, that's pretty. I you know, the videos that I've posted in the past about what I've been going through as far as like life as a whole, uh, relationships, friendships, romantic relationships. Hell, I've been going through a lot, even in my professional relationships. So I've just been taking the time to, sit with myself a little bit more and understand myself more. Recently, just finished therapy, so it's been a good thing for me. I gained a lot of understanding of myself as a whole and what's been my main problem and the root causes of everything that I've been going through. I just gained a lot of understanding of myself, and now that I felt like I had understanding of myself in general, but sometimes it's always good to have someone who is able to bring your subconscious to your conscious so you could better understand things. And that's what my therapist has done for me, you know. So I appreciate all the help that she has given me and all the knowledge and the lessons that I learned while I was in my therapy sessions for 6 months. Um, so it was just a good time, good journey. And you know, like I said, I just got to learn more about myself that I thought I knew or thought that I didn't know. Um, my main root cause of all the stuff that I've been through is that, growing up from my life to now, uh, the, the main root cause of everything has just been a lot of chaos. And I think I've talked about that in my past videos. So, that's just been the main thing that I have understood that has, I don't want to say kept me in a loop because I know that I'm able to easily leave these loops that I've been through. But like sometimes you felt like you learned your lesson and then the universe will just send you that lesson back in a different package. And you're just like, damn, like, how do I like deal with this or how do I understand this? Because it's like I thought everything was over and I thought this problem was over. And then you're just unconsciously sitting in it. But once it's over and you've figured everything out, you're just like, damn, this already happened, you know? And that's just something I have learned throughout my therapy sessions. It's just like, the root cause of my chaos. And a lot of it stemmed from obviously my childhood and how I grew up and how I was parented. And nothing against my parents because they did the best that they could. I feel like they raised me to be a great human being. And, that's just what it is. But I'm not perfect. Nobody's perfect. Never going to be perfect. I'm not striving to be a better day. So that's pretty much what I've learned throughout this journey of self and self understanding. And that's the topic of the video that I want to talk about today is the pain of becoming self-aware and to an extent too self-aware. Like it's it's painful. It's very painful. It's a tall task for sure because, when I think about the times where in my life ignorance was bliss, where I could just go about my day and just be like, it's just another day of being Devin. Devin likes to play basketball. Devin likes to play video games. Devin likes to hang out with his friends and say bad words and be out late at night and smoke weed, you know, drink lean and pop pills and all that stuff. Uh so, ignorance is bliss and that's how I used to live life unconsciously because I'm just like, oh, it's just another day. I'm just gonna wake up tomorrow and try something different or try the same things and see what the result is. So you know, just on this path and journey of becoming more self-aware. It's been a lot. Um, because once you open that portal of your what they say third eye, or in my instance of watching anime, like I'm in the process of watching Shippuden, right? Like I'm in the midst of it. I already finished the first Naruto. So I'm on Shippuden right now. I know it's crazy. I know I'm behind. You feel me? I'm a busy man. I got a lot of things going on in my head. I'm in my head all day. I think about stuff to do, and I do some of those things, but not all of them. All right. And I'm not the person to just sit down and binge watch television shows or even TV in general. Because usually when I get home, I don't even turn on the TV. I literally sit in the dark and just sit on the couch and literally do nothing. I just sit there and just be like, ah, just another day. Like I would literally sit in my house and do literally nothing. Like it's been a while since I even turned on my PlayStation. It's still in rest mode. Like you feel me? Like I have all my game system plugged up and I don't turn them on because like I just get home and I just want to rest and I just want to sit down and have conversations with myself. But like I'm in the midst of watching Shippuden, and haven't got that far. I think I'm on season two. So, but I know enough about Naruto in general to where he is in the first Naruto. He was really young. Naruto was really young. Crash out demon. Just anything can make him snap. And I used to be the same way as a kid. Like anything can make me snap. Like you could just be like, "Oh, Devin, your hair ugly," and I'd be like, "What? I'm ready to scrap." Like 7 years old, 8 years old, I'm ready to scrap. And then it'll get to a point where like I don't cry over sadness. I cry out of anger. So like if I got too angry and I start shedding the tears and I'm like, all right, what we gonna do about this? Like, you wanna fight? And that's just how I was as a kid. And now that I've gotten older and progressively gotten older as a teenager and then into an adult, and I understand that that wasn't really the healthy way to go about things. I'm just like, all right, people just like to put fun and stuff, and that's how I kind of started to go about life too. Is just you know relax a little bit, have a little fun. Like people like to roast, people like to. I kind of like to do the same thing. I ain't gonna lie, I roast all day, so I'm not really serious. Well, I am a serious, but my seriousness is very concentrated. So like, I spend a lot of my day relaxing, chilling, and joking, like a lot of it. But when it's time for me to get serious and locked in, like I can't see you. All right, I low key got tunnel vision at times. So same thing I noticed about Naruto. He's in the teenage years, growing into an adult, about to become the Hokage and all that stuff, and he's understanding like how to release his anger in a healthy way. Because in the first Naruto, like you said, crash out demon, like maybe mad. All right, I'm about to turn nine tails real quick. He made me like progressively mad. I'm about to turn nine tails real quick on you. And once people saw that nine tails demon that couldn't really be controlled and how much chakra it took, they're just like, oh, I don't want no smoke, brother. And I've kind of am the same way. Because like I said, I'm a laid back person. I don't really do too much. I don't want no much that much drama in my life. And for me, that's just I can relate. Like I don't really bother people or agitate people, but since I'm so laid back and quiet, I understand like people like to test my nature, and it's unfortunate because like I said, I really don't like to bother people. Like I really just like to sit back and you know, I've started to shit my dread in a way. Understand that about myself and shit. And now it's hanging down. All right. All right. But anyways, I started to understand that idea about myself is just like even when you know you're about to explode, you still gotta stay calm because People want a reaction. People want to make you look bad when you're just this laid back kind of guy. And I have learned that throughout the years. And it really became a big highlight in my obviously my last romantic relationship. Like I said, nothing against her. I don't got no problems with her. I don't think she's a bad person, you know. Everybody got stuff to work on, but it got to a point where I felt like she was just constantly picking and picking and picking and wanting me to react, and I wouldn't react. And then when I finally reacted, it was kind of like, okay, this is who he really is, and that's no, that's not it. It was just like I'm reacting to the picking that you're doing towards me, but she's not the only person to do it to me. Like it has happened to me all throughout life. And then even recently, it happened to me at work. But I didn't explode this time, you know what I'm saying? I didn't even explode in my last relationship. I didn't even explode on her either. I reacted like the reaction was a big boom, but it was a silent big boom. Like I just told them about themselves just like how I'm talking to you right now, but it was a lot. Like it was just like a laundry list of things. I'm not gonna lie, it was like a laundry list of things. I was just telling them about themselves, like, yo, you did this, and this. I already told you about it, but you just act like you didn't hear me or you didn't understand. But I'm telling you again, just to let you know, right? But those are not the only people I've done it to. I'm not gonna lie, like those are just the most recent ones that just happened to. So, and like I can relate it to Naruto in this case with forget about the nine-tailed fox issue. What about the Sharingan? And it's funny because you can see my eye. It's really red. I got cleaner in it before this video because I was cleaning up, but I was also spraying bugs. All right. And I opened the bottle because I had to dilute the cleaner anyway. So, like, I think I'm okay for now. But I opened up the cleaner to, like, some more cleaner in the bottle. And the spray bottle end was obviously open because, you got to spray it out. And when I opened it, the liquid flicked in my eye and it started burning. I was like, oh shit, what the fuck? So I had to, water my eye down so it doesn't burn anymore and stuff. So I got this red eye. But it's funny because like when I was getting ready to do this video idea, I'm just like, when Kakashi, Sasuke, Itachi, they got the Sharingan that they have, is more so like they use it for awareness, but also again jutsu. But Itachi, oh brother, don't talk. I don't want to. He used it in a way. It's just like, oh, I'm gonna make you remember this memory over and over and over and over, and I'm gonna make you relive it. But he's using it for bad. And then when Sasuke was a kid growing into a teenager, and he wanted to defeat Itachi, and he couldn't because the nigga was just too powerful. Haven't got to meet Madara yet. I'm still watching Shippuden, but I've heard about him and how he gets down. All right, but you know, and Kakashi was telling Sasuke when he was growing up, he's like, bro, you gotta be careful when you're using the Sharingan, brother. It can get dangerous and get spooky because the more you use it from a power perspective, you can become blind from it. But from my understanding is how I look at it. So Kakashi, he only uses it like sparingly. So in a situation of becoming self-aware on in real life and kind of relating Naruto to real life, it's having that Sharingan moment when you're just like, all right, I've seen this pattern before. How do I beat it or how do I stop it this time? And like I said, it happened to me recently, like in my professional career. Nothing against whoever that I got into this interaction with. Um, Still think the person is not a bad person. It's just, we had a clash of a clash. That's basically what it was. And, but from my end, I've already been down this path before in my personal life anyway, but also in a relationship, more specifically the last one. And the tactics that I felt like were used against me, I already saw before, and I didn't react or anything like that. I just took note of it and started documenting, right? And that's when my mind started getting the rumination, and I low key and on my end I went into fight or flight mode. I'm not gonna lie, but like I said, I didn't react. I just stood still, stayed calm, observed, and I'm just like, all right, when is the time for me? When is the right time for me to say something? And I didn't know when, but I was just like, the time is going to come eventually, and it's going to have to get exposed about what's going on. And it happened on Tuesday. So, the person I clashed with, I met with their boss as well. Um, I don't want to get in too much detail because I felt like the details of it were really hurtful towards me, and I don't want to go too much in deep into it because things it got really personal. I'll say that for sure. And a lot of those behaviors that were exposed to me during that clash, because it ended on Tuesday, but it didn't start on Tuesday. It started months ago. You know what I'm saying? And for me, the person I am, I like to give people grace. I want to harbor understanding for other people because you don't know what they're going through. And even if they tell you what they're going through, you don't know what's going through their mind when these things are happening. So I'm just like, all right, I'm gonna let it rock out for a minute, see if the person changes. Because if they change after what happened, then it was just a one-off thing. You feel me? Or it's just a simple mistake, or someone's just having a bad day. But for me, the way that the person was acting towards me, the behavior kept on going and on going and on going. So I'm like, no, this is who this person is, and I don't appreciate it. I'm not having that. And then like the clash ended, like it used well not usually. It ended up getting very not explosive, like yelling back and forth and that, but the culmination of it, like the silent boom, happened again, and I acted on what I had to act on. I didn't even during that boom, I didn't get loud or expressive. I was just like, "This is what happened. This is how this person's been treating me. This is what's going on at work, and I don't appreciate it. I want to give you grace. I understand you going through a lot, but this is how I felt, and this is my understanding of everything, and this is what happened." And I don't like to use my personal education to get over on people, but through my personal education of work and home and school and understanding human behavior, I'm just like, nah, this is not proper behavior from my perspective as a you know. And I know like some people can be unaware of their behaviors, but my perspective viewing what happened, the person was not unaware of their behavior. And that's just how I feel about it. And, things got a little, it didn't get out of hand, but it got handled. Nobody really got, I don't know if anybody got in trouble or not, but it didn't really get like too messy. You know what I'm saying? At least on my end, that's how I feel. But I ended up having a talk with the person after the fact. Um, they apologized to me, and all that stuff. So I forgive that person, but I still felt like I was being misunderstood even during that conversation because there were things that I said that the person still did not understand and still did not like repeat what I was saying. Like it still felt like words being put in my mouth that I never said. Not feel, but there were words that were being put in my mouth that was still not said by me. So like it's still a misunderstanding and that's fine, but like for me who I am as a person, I don't got time for to explain myself anymore. I feel like if you already are misunderstanding me, even after I explain myself to you once or twice, then you just don't want to understand. Like you just have your mind made up. So that's just how I feel about it. And that's the pain of becoming not only self aware, but just generally aware of everything around you. You know what I'm saying? And because of that, not because of that situation, but the situations before this with other people that I've dealt with, it's really hard to live life. And I'm not gonna let it stop me from living life because I got goals that I need to set, that I need to achieve for myself, and things that I want to do in life. So like none of this stuff is gonna stop any emotion that I have going on. All right. However, it is very hard for me to live to an extent because I feel like now I'm in a state of what they call hypervigilance. So like you gotta watch everybody from now on, like out the corner of your eye when you're conversating with people. And it was just when you're sitting back in the situations, it's like observing people. And it's painful because you have to observe the behaviors of how people act and how people carry themselves and how they're presenting themselves towards you and how they're presenting themselves towards other people. And it's hard because a person can present themselves as good to other people but bad towards you and vice versa. And there's something that's something I have became aware of um as of not as of late, but like over these past couple years, but it's more intense and highly focused now because I'm an adult, and dealing with people at this age is it's really hard because once you become an adult, it's hard for people to change because a lot of people are stuck in their ways. So even if you bring awareness to them and they apologize or whatever or anything like that, it's it's a good thing if they do change. Like you're supposed to want to change, you're supposed to want to embrace change and all that too. But like as an adult, when I observe people, they really don't want to change because a lot of the times people think that whatever they're doing is right, and some people with really big egos think that everything they're doing is perfect. When in reality, they could be terrible people or not even terrible people. They just have things that they need to work on. And for me, the person I am, you know, I know I'm not perfect. And I know I have an ego too. And sometimes I do operate in it. But, it comes a time when I do sit down with myself and I'm just like, all right, how could I how I have handled the situation better? Or how could I work on myself so next time something like this comes up, it doesn't get this far. You know what I'm saying? And it's just for me, it's an everyday thing because I'm constantly in my own head, like just thinking about the next steps or even just the next day. Because for me right now, I'm just building towards my future and my life. Um, so it's just really painful just being around people at times and just observing the good and bad behaviors of others. Because at the end of the day, the more self aware you become, the harder low key life gets because it is hard to just operate at times because the general average person just wants to have a good time. They want to have a good life, want to have good relationships and things of that nature. And I'm one of those people, but at the same time, it's kind of hard because you have to be aware at all times, especially of people who have problems with actual self reflection and people who don't want to look in their own mirror. I hate these freaking bugs. Ooh, man. Ooh, 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 bug, move, bug, move, bug, move. Anyways, uh, but it's people have a hard time doing a lot of self reflection because people think, not all people, but a decent amount of people that I've come across think that they're perfect. And when I interact with those people, I understand that sometimes you have to, instead of being their mirror, you have to hold the mirror up to them. And with people like that, it's hard for them. So they'll try to crack the mirror or they'll run away from it. And those are the type of people that in my life I understand that I do not need to be dealing with. Because with me, I look in the mirror every day. I'm just like, yo, what I need to work on today. Like I know I'm not perfect. Like what do I need to work on? what's the good things about myself that I understand and that I know, but also what are the bad things and things I need to improve on so I can be a better person for not just myself, but people I interact with, especially since I'm going down this field of social work and wanting to be a mental health therapist and just be a mentor and just help people in general. So, I do a lot of reflection every day and I just want to be the best person I could possibly be for everyone, but not a people pleaser. No, not a people pleaser because being a people pleaser is very, very, very draining, especially with people like the people I'm talking about, people who don't want to sit in the mirror with themselves and don't want to face themselves and deal with the negative problems that they have. Because if you're a people pleaser for these people, it's going to be hard to satisfy them. And the only thing they're going to keep doing is just projecting their negative problems and thoughts onto you. And like I said, no offense to the last girl I was with, but she did this a lot to me. And when I sat back in my apartment and I'm just doing a lot of reflecting on that relationship as well, I'm just like, that was some fucked up shit. But it's okay. Like, I'm not mad at her. I'm more mad at myself than anything because I allowed a lot of that stuff to happen, even though I saw the signs and everything that happened. So, not mad at her. I hope everything's going okay for her. Like, I don't have no issues with her. I don't have no beef with her or anything like that. Like I said, I'm more mad at myself than anything for just letting the stuff go on longer than it need to. But she's not the only person that's done that to me. Like I said, it's happened before in the past, like recently at work, in my old jobs, and then old friends that I had. But the one thing I do notice about this pain of self awareness and just overall being betrayed by people is that, as funny as it sounds, no offense to women, I love women. Like, I'm never going to give up on women. I'm not at all ever. But one thing I notice about my life and the times I've been portrayed by people, like 95% of them have been women. And that's just something I'm just like, yo, like, why? you know? But I kind of understand why is because I love deeply. And when I interact with women, I kind of like view them as precious people. And I want to do my best to aid them and take care of them because I know that women are a vulnerable population. And, I want to do everything in my willpower to at least try to protect them as much as I can. And whenever I interact with them, I make sure I create a judgment free, safe space for them to express themselves. And as good as that is, the bad part of it is just like when you have to set boundaries with them or even just tell them no or just be like, hey, I didn't like that. They can easily flip the switch on you, but that's just humans in general. But for me in my life, being betrayed by people, mostly women, that's the one thing I just observe. So, it's just a thing that I have noticed in my life. It's just like I've been betrayed by a woman a lot. So it's hard to deal with because, I love women a lot, but at the same time, I gotta not practice discernment, but act on my discernment a lot quicker. And I feel like I'm getting better at it now, especially after the last issue that happened with what happened. But this issue was with a dude, so it's kind of like, oh, something different. It's not a woman this time, so that's pretty exciting, I guess. But that's just a lesson I learned about becoming self-aware. It's just like, yo, it's not like I said, it's not just women. It's a human thing, and now that I understand that, and I became more self-aware within myself and just society as a whole, it's just like it's hard to live life, but I'm enjoying it because of the lessons that I learned throughout my waking life. You know, it is frustrating because I feel like I have to constantly watch everybody and listen to every conversation, every word, and every sentence that is said to me at this point and kind of dissect it in a sense because even though you take things at face value, it may be something underlying that the action or the words that is being posed to you from the other side. Um, so it's a challenge. It's definitely a challenge, but it's something that I've gotten better at understanding. So, you know, like I said, it's hard, but I'm not gonna let it bring me down or make me quit life or anything like that because for one, the field of work I'm in, well the field of work I'm in, social work. So I have no choice but to deal with people. But I chose this path because I want to deal with people and I want to help people become better. But I also in this aspect have to become better myself because the people I want to help all people, right? But the main population of people I want to help is the generation that's after me because I want them to become more aware of everything that's going on, but also have the ability to hold themselves and others accountable as well. Even me, like when I'm hanging out with my brothers, I'm just like, if I say something wrong or I say something you don't like, bro, just let me know. Like my little brother, the big one, he will let me know, like, nah, bro, I don't like that. And it's funny because it's just like interacting with him is just like it's like interacting with my best friend. So I already know he's gonna tell me how it is, and I can't get mad at him because he's speaking his mind. I was just hanging out with him yesterday. I'm just like, bro, like sometimes you gotta stop being impulsive, you know. And I was just trying to like let him know like it's nothing wrong with being impulsive, but sometimes you gotta bring it down a notch. He's just like, bro, I wouldn't be me if I wasn't impulsive. And I'm just like, you know what? You got a point, bro. You got a point. I'm not gonna lie. I might give you that one. So, you just gotta let people be themselves. But like I said, I try to create a judgment free, a safe space zone for everybody I interact with. But my therapist is like, it comes to a point where even though you are creating space for people, it's gonna come to a point where you are judging them, and it's gonna affect the relationship. So the best thing that I have learned is that when you set your boundaries, you got to keep them set. You can't make them flexible. So yeah, it's just like I said, it's just the pain and struggle of becoming more and more self-aware day by day. And it hurts. It really does hurt. But like I said, I got to enjoy the process, enjoy the life, enjoy the journey before I get to the destination and just look at life like that because I understand that it's more to life than just material things, external validation and praise. Like take care of yourself and understand yourself so that you can become a better person for not just yourself, but for people as well that you love and you care about and that you want to help. So this is me on my journey to self-awareness. The cracks open more and more every day. What they say, the third eye, it just cracks more and more every day. Um, I am enjoying being sober more and more day by day. I've been sober for a couple months, so that's good. I'm just enjoying, life and just being clear and having a clear conscience about everything and just observing everything and just sitting in the nature. I'm sitting outside of my patio right now, just looking at all the trees and all the animals fly by. You see the bug was on my freaking table while I was recording. I want him to go away or her, whatever gender the bug is. But I'm just enjoying life. It's good. It's great. Like everything in my life been going great since I want to say May. Like I moved to my apartment in April. I was still going through a tough time with my last relationship and getting my money back up and all that stuff and just finishing the second semester of my college because I'm in my last semester now. So I'm about to be done. So that was a tough time for me in April. But May up until now, it's actually been great. Haven't really been stressed. Um, been working out more and more again. Started going to the chiropractor, which is crazy. I never thought I'd see the day, but I am getting a little old. I'm about to be 30 soon, so been going to the chiropractor. I just finished therapy. Um, been talking to my friends more, hanging out with my friends more. Just letting them know how much I appreciate them and love them for being along with me on this journey that I have been going through, especially the rough times. I was in the eye of a chaos hurricane, uh, with all the childhood trauma that I was enduring, and even the relationship that I just got out of. I mean, I'm in a new one now, obviously, but the one before the one I'm in now, it was very chaotic. Um, I know I played a part in it for sure, and I can admit to it. Like, there's nothing wrong with it, but I'm in a better place now. Um, like literally, life's great, and I'm not gonna have the mindset I used to have. Like, oh, everything's going so great, it's gotta come to an end eventually. Like, no, bro, that's a negative mindset. That's another thing about becoming self-aware is just like I used to have that, that negative mindset, but I don't think like that anymore. It's just like, yo, if everything's great, keep doing everything that you're doing to make it great, and keep wanting that habit to continue to be great. So everything's been pretty good. My girlfriend's been treating me well. I've been trying to treat her well, or at least I think I'm treating her well. Um, like I said, I'm grateful for my friends. My relationship with my parents has gotten better. My relationship with my brothers has gotten better. Um, Work isn't bad outside of the instance I had recently with one of my coworkers. So shit, life's great, honestly, and it's going to continue to be great. I'm not letting anything bring it down or anybody bring it down. And I know that the people that were in my life that I had to cut off, I can't let them back in my life. And that's just it. So there's some good aspects about being self-aware of everything. So yeah, that's just pretty much it. I just wanted to make this video. It was a topic that's been in my mind for a couple of days, and I just want to talk about it. But I know I've been away for a minute. I've just been taking care of myself, having fun. Summer's over. I'm about to start my last semester of college on Monday. So I'm gearing up for it, and I'm ready to be done. Because in the spring, I'll graduate in the spring. I just have to do my internship. But this is like my last semester of college before I go to my master's program. So yeah, I'm ready for everything to be done. I'm ready to close this first chapter of my life. As crazy as it sounds, 28 years is one chapter. I know, bro. It's crazy, but yeah. So that's all I gotta say. It's your boy Dev signing out. Peace. Love y'all.
God got me, baby, God got the children. The devil run the playground, but God got the building. Nobody can take advantage. God got me, baby, God got the children. The devil run the playground, but God on the building. Nobody can take advantage. I'm no longer the victim, I'm the victor, I'm the victor. This is the victory for the history. Soft on the read, so the tester. Soft, I couldn't read, I was Mr. Yick, nose the knees on the distal. Dark form from need for the pistol. I play on land that was my own. For 100 years it wasn't my own. Gulf America, it wasn't my home. Soft on the sun, what am I on? Black is just a color, can you see? Orange and yellow is my 23 and me.